When you're a Dauphine, it's a 24/7 job, and that's like, when I was doing heroin, I could manage that to the point where I have this much money, I could keep my money at this level, I could do a little bit less, I could do a little bit more to keep my money at that level, and so I was okay throughout the week or whatever. When I started in meth and crack, it was like, I didn't care. I was burning through money like crazy. And then I was doing desperate things to get more money, to get it back up to the point that I needed it to, and it was like totally unmanageable. It got way better real quick. In my addiction, I've always put everything off. I've always thought, I'll quit soon, I'll quit next week, I'll quit next month, I'll quit next year. I always gave like year dates, like I was 25, I was like, I'll quit when I'm 27. When I was 27, I was like, I'll quit when I'm 30. Now I'm 33, and it's like, where did the last 11 years go? I'm real close to my family, so it was definitely hard on them. They tried so many times, and I left so many rehabs that they knew if I didn't go on my own, if they forced me to go, or tried to force me to go, or tried to talk me into going, and tried to trick me into going, that I was just going to leave again, like I always did. I just go there, get a call, get a taxi, get a plane, leave. But, when I first came here, I was definitely against it 100% for the first month, probably 3 weeks a month. I left like 3 times. So, but they let me come back each time, and they were very understanding of my situation, because I wasn't used to normal people at all. I mean, like I said, they dealt with a lot of stupid stuff that I didn't think most places don't deal with, and then I end up leaving. Like, I almost give them a reason for me to leave at the beginning. I'll fight everything, and I'll fight with everybody as much as possible, so it's almost like I'm giving myself an excuse to leave. But if they give me a reason and they fight with me or piss me off in some way, I'm just like, okay, I'm leaving. I just leave. So it was like they were very understanding here of my issue and let me get through that part. It almost made me more frustrated that they didn't give me a reason to leave, because I was looking for an excuse for them to, get ignorant with me. So I had an excuse, and they never got ignorant with me. So, I mean, they just tried to help me the best they could. So I pretty much had no reason to leave. So I stayed, and throughout the time I got used to it. I saw how nice everybody was, and my attitude started to change just being around better people. And I noticed that it wasn't like a 12-step program where they're just constantly beating on you about your addiction. And I've always thought it was in your mind, not like a disease you get. And as I started to learn how how they worked with you with your addiction, and and it was the same kind of with the way they work with your whole life, it started to come clear to me that they had something going on here rather than the same old stuff that I've heard 8 million times, and I already know what's going to happen. Like, I noticed it was different, and I could feel that it worked. That's where I really kind of understood and was like, they really kind of do know what they're talking about. And it's so much different than anything I ever was taught throughout all the other rehabs I went to, that, you know what I mean? It was like I understood what they were talking about. I understood what was going on, and it made way more sense to me than everything else that I've ever heard. And then it was the one-on-one counseling and the one-on-one talking to the owner and the admissions and the director and all those people who really didn't even have to talk to me. They didn't have to talk to me. They didn't have to explain anything. There's counselors. There's everything for that. And between my counselor and the 3 main people here, they didn't have to deal with all my stuff and didn't have to explain, didn't have to talk to me or anything. But between them, their one-on-one talking is what really turned me around. If I would have just been going through classes like the other places, I would still have paid no attention, and I would have left here, and that would have been it. The reason why they were so good at the one-on-one helped me so much was the one-on-one stuff was really got my mind to work and start to feel the way that they were teaching. And then after that, after I got the one-on-one stuff and I started to learn it and learn the core of it and everything, that's when the classes started to help, and I started to pay attention and made me more interested into it. At first I was interested and I was a little bit lost, but once they took that time to help me out with the one-on-one stuff, that's when I started to learn the rest, and classes started to be better. I've always been a key believer. I've never agreed with AA or NA or any of that. I've never really went to AA. I was more of an NA person, but I never believed in any of that stuff that they said, that you can't control it and stuff like that. If you're the one doing it, you're the one that started it. And that's what really opened me up here, was that they didn't really believe that either. They believed that, you know, you're responsible for your own actions. And, you know what I mean? You're the one doing it, and you're the one that can, you're the only one that can control it. And I'm a firm believer of that. Somebody else can't control what you do. But like, that's what really opened me up here, was they kind of thought the same thing. And this is the first place that helped me fix that problem, rather than push it off on something else. Like, oh, it was a trigger, or oh, you shouldn't have been doing this, or you shouldn't have done that. It's like, well, what happens if you're at work? What are you supposed to do? Quit your job if somebody's getting high over there, or you know somebody's drinking, or whatever is going on? You're supposed to quit your job? You can't do that. You have to deal with it at times. So, I mean, it's still going to be a trigger and you didn't even know it. I mean, you can't stay away from that your whole life. And they helped me deal with that and helped me get past that, and showed me what I need to do to survive those situations, rather than blaming someone else. The last 10 years, I was definitely miserable for a lot of it, but not really miserable, I was like angry almost, I'd say. And I'm not saying I had something to be angry about, but I was like angry at the world, I guess. It was like anything was setting me off, and I was just angry. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I was just angry, and it's almost like been replaced with happiness after being here. I was literally angry constantly. Now I'm like laugh all the time. I'm happy about things. I mean, when I was out there, I always thought it was different. I mean, it's like, I always thought that, and always thought somebody didn't understand me. I understand everybody is different in their own way, but it's still, everybody's still the same, as in the way this program works and the way everybody works it. You don't really work this program like you would say AA or NA. You kind of like, it comes to you, and they will give you they give a lot of patience for it to come to you. And when it comes to you, you know it comes to you. But one thing that I did like about being here is that it's so healthy. They give you so many vitamins, so many everything. I don't think my hair's grown so fast. I don't think my nails have grown so fast, and I don't think I've gained so much weight and so fast. And I think that the spa program here is really good, because literally I could feel the drugs being pulled out of my system. And it helped you be tired and sleep. Same with the neurofeedback, helped me sleep a lot and took a lot of my anxiety away, which I didn't believe in neurofeedback in any way until I got here. And I fought it to the end. Believe me, I fought that, and I fought the spa. I fought it all. And I mean, they made me do it, and this neurofeedback helped me sleep, helped me with my anxiety, helped me with all that, and I ended up feeling better. And I never slept so quick in my life than here. I always go months without sleeping, and here I was sleeping in like a month. I was like sleeping solid, and that never happens with me. So I think the way they have the program set up is really good.